get to 1908. Yeah, I want to get. Oh, why are we playing 1800s right now? Give me some good players,
I
man.
throw events and I throw parties, and I know it
What?
does take. There is a certain kind of rhythm and flow to things that you need. This was very like scattered all over the place, and I just, but it was fun to be there, and it was fun to see little militant Asian non-binary people walking around dressed like Muslims. If that's not a fun thing, if that's not a fun theme party, if you can't have fun there, where can you have fun? Tiny little non-binary Asians dressed up like Muslims in walkie-talkies, running around. If that doesn't satiate, you want a little bit of that. And this is what we've lost in America. Things are terribly corporate and terribly boring.
This is just looking pretty
dressed like a Hamas,
closed up.
It's fun, and I think it throws you, but in a good way. So I mean, those are the lessons I learned from it. I'm not gonna do much, other than kind of show up, which I think really was all they kind of did. I just showed up for less time. They all got pepper sprayed and rubber bulleted, and I get it. That's the whole, you're building that cred. I get it, but it's just still not, it's a long way from, Hamas. It really is. And I'm not saying that you should be Hamas, but I'm saying Fox News is like, there's Hamas all over the colleges. Like, that's not really what's going on. In the same way that people on the left think that the cops should not respond when the school calls them in and says, we have people vandalizing the property, they're refusing to leave certain buildings. The cops are going to come in. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? So much of this show is telling people how things are going to work, and so much of it is people getting angry at me because they don't like reality and they'd like to live in another place. That's fine. I don't love reality. It's why I live in Beverly Hills. You can choose a place to live that doesn't resemble reality, but in reality, we are not going to let a college be taken over by tiny non-binary Asian little Hamas people who, again, I liked them. I ran into a Jew on the way in, and let's say this. He said to me, I pulled over my car, he goes, are you Jewish? I go, no. He goes, you look Jewish. I said, stop. And he goes, what are you? And I said, Irish. And he goes, oh, you look actually more Irish. And then he goes, I'm Jewish. I go, how's it been over here? It's getting rough, right? And he goes, well, we're certainly outnumbered. I go, yeah. I go, I'm a comedian. He goes, yeah. He goes, what's your IG? Then he followed me on IG. And then immediately he goes, I'm launching an app for nightlife. I go, I'm going to put the scarf on if you keep going. I'm going to put the scarf on if you keep going. So without further ado, here's the episode you're going to hear. I just wanted to update you all my journey as kind of a revolutionary and what it was like for that half hour until I found my Bentley and I went right to bed. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. Let me say one good
Until I
thing
found my
about
Bentley
Hamas.
and I went right to Bel Air.
And I will say it unironically. Hamas, for all the negatives, okay, they are obviously deeply committed to a vision of the world I do not share. But here's the thing about Hamas. They kind of, they're willing to die. They're putting their lives on the line. It's hard to take some of the student protests seriously when they make these demands and they go, we want vegan and gluten-free food. We want lotion, no sunscreen, because there are chemicals in sunscreen, which is correct. We want knee and elbow pads, rope and zip ties, helmet, shields, and wood, super bright flashlights with strobe, utility gloves, canopies, rain ponchos,
Where's he going?
umbrellas, EpiPens, non-steroid inhalers, headlamps, organizational bins. Hot food for lunch is important. Vegan food, gluten-free food, ice, no packaged food, no coffee, no bagels. That's funny. No bagels. Well, the optics of it, right? The optics would be terrible. Eating a bagel, you know? It would be terrible. I get it. I'm with you. They probably had a meeting where they're like, we can't be screaming about Israel while eating bagels. It'll look ridiculous. No bagels, no bananas, no nuts. Fill out this form if you're interested in coordinating a meal. And again, I don't tell anyone not to protest. I don't tell anyone how to feel. I simply am an observer. I think that it is natural for people to be upset about the course of the war and the things that Israel has done, and people protesting is their right. And I completely get that. I want gluten-free vegan options for the protest. Again, it is a little, well, because their whole thing is military.